Hello guys, I am having my quiet time, but today I'm doing something a little bit differently. Have you ever heard of golden milk? So golden milk is something that you have a lot of in Indian cultures, and what it is you use this turmeric mixture. And see, I made this turmeric mixture by using turmeric powder and then a lot of water and reducing it until it becomes like this little paste. Now typically I make my paste a lot thicker than this, but this time I didn't. These little chunks are chunks of turmeric and some chunks of ginger that I put in here. Now I use the turmeric powder that you find at the grocery store. Put it over a fire, like turn the stove on, and then just sort of stirred it by adding water and then reduced it down. That's what I mean. And now you're gonna pour it into the milk, some of it into the milk. Guys, you know holding this camera makes me a very messy cook. But we're gonna make this work as best we can. And then you stir it. It turns into this pretty golden color. Now, one of the things you add to it is syrup. But I'm a little out of syrup today because we had pancakes and I haven't replaced it. And I like to use maple syrup and I don't have any. So I'm going to use this honey to sweeten it. Just a little bit. That's my honey there. Now you may be wondering why I have this pepper. But people say that the effects of the turmeric, which is anti-inflammatory, gets released when you have pepper. So add a little pepper to it. I know, weird, right? And then you just sort of cook it and let it come to a boil. So it's almost like you have to cook the turmeric paste, which is this, first, and then you add the turmeric paste to about a cup of milk. Then I'm going to let that cook. And then let's come over here and get my top. Let that boil. And when it's done boiling, we'll be ready to pour it into our glass. Be right back. And then, because I don't have my syrup, my maple syrup, I used honey. I really don't like the taste of golden milk with honey as much as I do with syrup. And so I'm gonna add some of my vanilla. You know how I do. Just a little touch to hit it off. Give it a flavor that I like. That should do it. I'm gonna stir it. There we go. Now I'm going to take a sip and see how it goes. Ah, much better. Alrighty, I'm gonna have my quiet time and then I'll see you back. So, what have you guys been up to? Well, I had planned to make a totally different video today, but get my camera fixed here. But life started lifing. So much so that I couldn't go for the regular coffee today. I just said, you know what? I'm gonna drink me some milk. I don't care. Because it's one of those days. So I have my golden milk here, which I absolutely love. I got the recipe off of YouTube. There was an Indian doctor, and I can't pronounce this word. Ayurvedic, Indian doctor. You know what I mean. And it was actually a lady, I think from England, but she had been over to India and had practiced the different types of Eastern medicine. And she put the recipe for this golden milk, and I was like blown away by it. Now, I had some actual turmeric, the root, that I got with my co-op, and I left that in my turmeric paste. And I don't like it that way as much because it seems to make it more bitter over time. Normally when I make my golden milk and I make my turmeric paste, I just use the, the powder, the turmeric powder that you find at the grocery store. I get mine from like a Indian, Asian food store, and it'll last for a while. When I use the actual turmeric root, I notice it gets a little bit more bitter than I like, and it doesn't seem to last as long. But I digress. I had to have it because I needed a comfort beverage. I needed a support snack today, an emotional support snack today. Because, life's life, and, we've got lawnmower issues. We've got a laptop speaker that's just crackling, and I've got some things I need to get done out at the cabin. So a lot of little things are sort of starting to add up, and any one of them's not a big deal, right? It's just when you start getting a lot of little things that add up that it makes life start to feel a little heavy. So just wondering, what do you do when you have days like that? What do you do? I am, full confession, I'm the type of person that likes to try to get through that type of a situation as quickly as I can. It's almost as if I don't want to spiral. So I kind of just want to, okay, let me figure out what I need to do to make myself happy. What type of emotional support beverage or emotional support food, or what kind of thing, what can I do to shift the mood, shift the energy? And that's kind of my thing. But I have to say that I admire people who take a different approach, who just sort of say, you know what? I'm having a day. It's not a fun day. It's a day where I've got to deal with a lot of things that are kind of happening at one time. But it's okay. I'm just going to let myself deal with it. I'm going to let myself have that day. And when I think about it, that might not be a bad approach, because sometimes you just have to take a moment and you just have to vent, and you just have to let it out, whatever it is you're feeling. You know what I'm saying? You just have to say, you know what? It's that kind of day. I'm having that kind of moment. And it is what it is. And it doesn't mean you're a bad person. It just means you're overwhelmed. There's a lot going on. So I thought today we'd talk a little bit about that. Whether you're the kind of person like I tend to try to be, where I try to get through my hurdles and my bad moments pretty quickly, or if you're that kind of person that just needs to just take a moment, take a beat, and just let yourself feel whatever you're feeling. And the reason I kind of want to talk about it is because I think I've been living under the false assumption that if I have a down day, then that means I'm gonna quit. Or it means I won't be able to get the things done that I need to get done. But that's not true. Sometimes when you let yourself feel whatever it is you're feeling, and you let yourself just take a break, it might be more helpful than just sort of pushing past it and trying to just get over it. It might be more helpful to take a moment to reset, because really that's all it is. It's allowing yourself to be aggravated in the situation, to not judge yourself for being aggravated, to acknowledge that, you know what, this is more bandwidth than I have right now, and I'm just gonna lay in bed, or I'm just gonna bake my cookies, or drink my milk, or have my glass of wine, or whatever that thing is, that support thing is that you need to do. For some people, it's venting. You just gotta tell about it. You gotta yell. You gotta get it off your chest. You gotta get it out. And I think I admire people like that, because they're being who they really are. And sometimes those of us that feel like we have to always put up a good front, always keep a even upbeat mood, sometimes we don't get to really address the issue. And sometimes we don't give ourselves a break. to actually feel what it is we're feeling. And when those feelings finally hit and you can't shift them, then you crash. So there's a lot to be said for that. Having a bum day where you got a lot going on doesn't mean you're quitting when you take a moment to just sit still. It just means you're resetting. Because the truth of the matter is, the lawnmower will get fixed. I've already found somebody that's going to look at my computer, that's going to address the speaker issue. That's more than likely is going to get fixed. If it doesn't get fixed, I'll end up just getting a new laptop. And the cabin will be there for me. And I'll be able to get all the fun things done to it that I want to get done to it. Those things will be there tomorrow. And I'm sure I'll feel excited again. There is no need for me to rush past what I'm feeling at the moment to try to manufacture some type of joy, to try to shift the energy or shift the mood. I can just let things be. I think it was Mel Robbins. She had a book in her last book where she says, letting things be. You know, not trying to fight a situation or to try to, you know, move yourself past something or to try to create something. I mean, like, if you didn't get invited to the party, okay, you didn't get invited to the party. Okay, what next? You feeling down about something? Okay, you're feeling down. It's okay. Sitting with things, letting yourself just be. And I'm also looking at a report here that I have to write. But I wasn't going to let it stop me from hopping on here to talk to you today. Because that's the first thing that it tries to do. When you have all these other things to do, it sort of eats up the bandwidth from the things that you want to do. And I said, no, I'm not going to let that happen. This is my day. These are things that I'm dealing with. I don't feel rah-rah, shish, bam, boom. And I'm not going to make myself feel rah-rah, shish, bam, boom. But one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come on here and I'm going to talk to you about it. Because maybe you got some ideas. I'm curious, which side do you fall on? Do you rush past it because you don't want to spiral? So what you do is you try to put on a brave face and you just keep going, tell yourself it's nothing and keep moving forward? Or do you let yourself sit in it and deal with it and just say, hey, it is what it is? Now, the flip side of it is if you sit too long in it. And I think that's kind of my fear. That's why I don't just let myself get too upset about an issue, unless it's a serious issue. Let's say that. If it's a serious issue, then I will let myself get upset. But it's almost as if it's not something big, I feel almost afraid to let myself get too upset about it. It kind of feels like if I let myself get too upset about it, I might spiral down into a point where I'm just too sad about anything. But that in itself can create a problem. Because if you don't allow yourself to feel what you feel, then eventually you have to pay for that. And then it hits you so hard till you do end up in a spiral. So I'm aware of that. But not really talking about anything in particular today, just acknowledging that today was hard. And that's okay. Some days are hard. Some days are hard. So I hope your day is going well. I hope you are having everything go the way you want it to go. And if it doesn't go the way you want it to go, then I hope you will allow yourself to have a moment to just rest and to let yourself feel whatever it is you're feeling, and to know that chances are whatever it is you're worried about, it'll get resolved and you'll be feeling better in no time. And just because you're letting yourself be a little upset today doesn't mean you're quitting. It doesn't. So that's all I got. I'm usually a lot more chatty, but that's all I got today. But we'll be back. And tomorrow will be better. It will be. It will be.